We've spent a lot of money over the years modifying our four-wheel drives. Some of it was money well spent, some of it definitely wasn't. So if we were starting again today, where would we spend the money? Where would we save the money? Let's talk about that. One of the things that we've learned from years of building this cruiser is there's a massive difference between expensive and good value. And that's because some of the cheapest modifications that we've done actually end up being our favorites, and some of the most expensive things that we have done have turned out to be a bit of a flop. So today we're going to put everything into two categories: save your money or spend extra. So the first area we're going to talk about is the engine. Now this is where I would recommend you definitely don't try and save money, because this is where you're going to have your reliability problems. So make sure your servicing's done right, your coolant's all properly done, the turbo's working well, everything is as it should be. Maintenance, preventative maintenance, and getting things fixed properly, because when you're out scrub and something breaks down, you don't want to have to try and fix an engine in the middle of nowhere, because that's not going to be very good. This is somewhere where you should be spending proper money. We're not chasing power gains, we're not trying to get all this flash stuff out of it. Just make it reliable, make it bulletproof. The next thing on the let's spend money on the car pile is suspension. Now every time you get into your car and turn the key, you're going to be using the suspension one way or the other. Suspension is good for leveling out your car, it's good for handling bigger loads. If you want a GVM upgrade, it comes from the suspension. Everything to do with the dynamics, the handling, when you're driving your car every day, you're going to notice the suspension. So spend the money on something that's right for your vehicle, and you will never regret that. When we're setting a car up, the first thing we do after we work out how heavy everything's going to be is get the suspension done, because it's something that 6 months down the track, you're going to forget maybe how much the suspension costs, but you're going to remember how good the ride feels. You've got remote res shocks these days, you've got airbags, you've got all these things you can use to make your suspension setup absolutely perfect for your car. So make sure you get it right at the start. In the save your money pile, drawers. If you've got a canopy set up or you've got a wagon with drawers at the back, drawers can be, you could spend an awful lot of money on drawers, but at the end of the day, they're going to open up with stuff that you can stuff inside it and you're going to close it again. Now, over the years, we've built our own drawers, we've bought new drawers, we've bought second-hand drawers. In my experience, drawers are drawers. We got this set here off Marketplace because and we modified the front of it because I like the one-handed opening. And these were really good value. They do exactly what I want to do. And I could have spent another $1,000 to get brand new ones of these, or ones custom made for this side of the canopy. I could have done all of that and it wouldn't have made any difference, because they still have two drawers that open and close, and these are nice big drawers, and I'm really happy with it. So it's not something that is going to make a massive difference to your setup. If you go and spend $2,000 on drawers versus whatever these were, it's not going to make any difference, in my opinion, to your setup, because drawers are drawers. Save your money for the good stuff. Now, coming on to the other side of the canopy, same story around here, kitchens. Now, I have been through a plethora. You will see in our channel, if you go back and look, I have had silly kitchens, I have had good kitchens, I've had big kitchens, I've had small kitchens, I've had all sorts of kitchens. And you know what? In this new canopy build, you know what I've gone with? A drawer and a table with a pantry, and that's it. Super easy, super simple, super basic, lightweight, cheaper, better in my opinion. I've gone back to this canopy, and if you've watched any of our videos, you'll know this is about, I don't know, my 5th or 6th or 7th or 8th or 10th canopy build, between changing things up all the time. And the camp kitchens are lovely, but one of the ones I had, you had to pull out, then it's flopped down and the things pulled out. And if you wanted to get just the salt out, you had to go through all of that palaver. Now, finished with all that. I'm doing simple these days. And again, this is in the save your money pile. You don't need to spend thousands and thousands on a camp kitchen, because if you can't cook that well like me, it's a bit wasted on me anyway. So I can find places to put stuff everywhere in this truck without buying the flash camp kitchen. Save your money for the good stuff. No build to be complete without 12 volt. It is deserving of an honorable mention. The 12 volt system is something we definitely didn't cheap out on. It's the heartbeat of the canopy. It's when you go camping, or when we go camping, this runs our entire camp setup. It's everything that we need it to be. Inside here there's an inverter, there's an MPPT charger, there's a 100 amp charger from the alternator. It brings the solar in with the MPPT. It's got all sorts of outlets. We've got 9 240 volt outlets within the canopy. This thing runs our complete camp setup, charges all our drone batteries, our camera batteries, charges everything, keeps the fridges cold, keeps the beer cold. That alone is worth spending the money on. So we did spend the money on the Voyager. This thing is already, I think it's 2 years old, and it will last us for many, many years to come, and everything we need to know is on the front. It is, in my opinion, the best money I've spent on the canopy. Right, let's talk about canopy lights and camping lights and all that sort of stuff. So this light in this canopy is on the door. There's one on the other door. In canopies going past, I had one, maybe two on the door, and I had at least one inside. I think the one canopy had 3 inside. So all of a sudden I've got 5 sets of lights in the canopy. You don't need that many. 1, more money, because you're gonna buy 5 lights instead of 2. And 2, more amps. The more you have all 5 lights on, the faster your battery's gonna drain. You don't need 5 lights. When you're camping, can be more. So this falls into the, do spend money on quality lights, but you don't need heaps of them to make things nice and workable. Canopy lights are one thing. We've got these Woburn torches. Look at the size of this little guy, tiny. He works really well. Just if you're going into the bush, maybe to find something, or you lost something on the ground, this little light in your pocket, nice and easy to carry and not that expensive. And this bigger one, honestly, this one's as bright as one of the spotties in the front of the car nearly. This one's really cool. We will do a review on these coming up shortly, but these are just very handy to have stashed in places. So if you're going off into the scrub looking for something, these are there. And also, now I picked this up off, I'm gonna say Temu. Little fairy lights, they're solar powered on the back. They cost, I don't know, 10 bucks, I don't know what they were. But these will roll out, and you've got nice little ambient lighting around the campsite for very little money and very little effort. Camping lights, spend the money well, but you don't need to spend a lot of it. All right, this could fall into either camp depending on what your thoughts are. My thoughts are camp chairs, spend the money, because this is somewhere you sit in your camp chair that much when you're camping that I have bought cheap camp chairs and they fold to bits, especially the ones with the fabric sort of on the arms and on the joints at the top here where they're stretched. And over time, and not even that long of a time, they rip, and all of a sudden that camp chair is useless. Do your research when you're in the shop if you've got a chance to test them out before you buy them. See how easy they are to open and close. I've ordered a few over the years, which while they open up nice and easily, getting them closed, you need a degree at Oxford University to close these things, or you need to spray WD-40 on the legs every time so the things slide up and too much hassle. Buy yourself, in my opinion, this goes on the spend money side. Not a lot of money for a camp chair comparatively, but spend money on a good camp chair will last you the test of time. These ones that we're sitting on now are from Sun's Adventure in 4x4. We did buy these at the Brisbane show this year, and I've used them a few times over on Morton on the last few trips, and I'm actually a big fan of these. They do also recline back because I love falling asleep under the stars at the campfire. That's just what I do. All right, let's talk about shelter. So when you're camping, rain, sun, you'll want shelter. Now, in my opinion, you want to spend good money on a good gazebo because that will last you a long, long time. Something that packs down small. We've got one that we're taking with us to Fraser this weekend from Quest. It's an inflatable air gazebo, it's 3.5 meters square. We bought this ourselves. We're taking it because it's a good gazebo. It packs down really, really small and it blows up solidly, and it's really quite big. It's got walls and all that. You could buy a cheap awning for about the same money, but I think that's going to be something that's going to break quite easily in the first storm, and off you go. We've spent money on a good awning here. This is a tough terrain 270 awning. This is a good awning, freestanding, all that stuff. And we use this all the time. But if you were on a limited budget and you couldn't just stretch to something like this, instead of buying a cheap awning, I'd be buying an expensive gazebo by the same price. All right, the next thing that I would definitely be spending good money on is a winch. Now, a winch is something that you will be using when you get out onto the tracks, and it's something that you don't want to she'll-be-right on the cheapest one that's on Marketplace, because when you're in trouble And if you're got two wheels hanging precariously off the edge of a big rut, or you've got one big wheel lift and you think you're going to topple over, when you pull the winch out to save yourself, you want to know that this is working, and it's working really well, and it's going to get you out of trouble. And if you haven't used it for a couple of months, get it out, use it, re-spool it, make sure everything's working, because these things are just such an important insurance policy for when you're out in the tracks, especially if you're going solo. But multiple uses for a winch. First one is safety. You make sure that you can get out of any situation that you're in. Do not skimp on the winch. We run carbon winches. This is the Scout Pro. I think it's a 12,000 pound winch. And if you jump down below, there's a link to these on our website too, because these are pretty cool things. And staying with the recovery theme, recovery gear is, again, in the spend money once, spend it right pile. Now, we've got the Recovery Pro, I think it's called, gear from Whiteback Equipment. It's got pretty much everything you're ever going to need to recover anything with. There's two tree trunk protectors, there's 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 soft shackles, there's the extension rings for winches, there's an extension strap, there's a kinetic rope for snatch straps, there's everything you could need to recover anything. We're actually doing a video about this soon on what's in the kit and how to use everything in the kit, not just properly but safely, like including the damper that goes on the winch rope or on the snatch rope every time, where to put it, how to put it. So keep an eye out for that video coming up, because recovery, it's so important. It is literally life or death if you get it wrong, but spend money wisely on recovery gear. So let's come inside the car and talk about interior mods that you want to spend money on, or you can cheap out on. First of all, I have spent money on the seats in here. These are what you sit on every time you drive the car. It makes me feel nice and comfortable, supported, and I can drive for long distances in these seats and not really feel fatigued. Stuff that you really don't need to spend that much money on, like a roof console. I got this off Marketplace. To buy these new, they're a fortune. If you didn't want to spend the money on one of these, a dash mat will pretty much do exactly the same thing. Again, first world comforts. I got a center console fridge. You don't really need that either. That's money that you could definitely save. I got this in a sale. It wasn't that much money. Just keep your eye open for those sort of things. Because the cruisers don't come with a lot of center console stuff, I ended up 3D printing a center console for the bottom of the car just to hold knickknacks and an extra couple of Siggy points there to charge stuff. I wasn't going to spend the money on buying a big flash center console, because to me that's not going to improve the performance of the car or anything really at all. Steering wheel's another one, probably goes in the nice to have, but you could probably not bother buying a steering wheel and just cheap out with the normal factory one that comes with it. It does the same thing. It makes the wheels go around each way. This one is nice. I do enjoy it. It's got all the wireless controls and stuff. I really love it, but it's you don't need it. And the last thing are probably floor mats. I would say good floor mats make a real difference when you're on the beach or in the mud. When you come home, you're not having to vacuum all the car out or rinse all the car out of mud, because these mats, these are Bedrock mats that we got at the show. We bought these as well. I've had them for about a year now, just over a year. These are brilliant. Once I come back from the beach, I literally just take them out, take the sand off, put them back in. You don't even really need to vacuum the floor anymore. It's money well spent, in my opinion. In conclusion, look, you can spend expensive things that aren't really that good, or you can buy cheap things that are absolutely brilliant. If I was starting the build again today, there's a lot of things that I wouldn't spend the money on, like we've just spoken about. It's a difference between having a smart touring setup or just something you've thrown money at that doesn't really work together. Marketplace is your friend. I have bought so much off Marketplace. We've actually done a video. You can go back and have a look at it of everything we've bought for this truck and Andy's from Marketplace that we've repurposed or we've modified or we've painted or we've made good. Saving a lot of money there, but just remember, expensive doesn't necessarily mean good, and cheap doesn't necessarily mean bad. Anyway, that's all I've got for you this time. Please hit that subscribe button, press that like button, and we'll see you in the next one.